try.
I'm from the lovely village of Tumbo, Campbell, along Fiji Islands. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Fiji Qera, and we've got 4 beautiful kids: Alexis, Junior, Deborah, and Rayan. And right now we reside in Stoke-on-Trent.
You pretty much spent most of your career at Gloucester.
Yeah.
7 years there, wasn't it?
Yes.
Do you call that home?
Yes. I really love that place. I really love the club. To top it off, we've got a lovely supporters base, which is really good and helpful for us foreigners coming in.
And would you change anything at Gloucester?
No, I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything. I really loved it, and I really loved my time there.
I know a few Gloucester supporters, and they always say, because obviously they know my links with Fiji, they always say, Ngara, he's a legend, a legend. Every time I say, oh, he's a legend. Do you regard yourself as a legend?
I don't see myself as a legend. For reason I don't know, but to be titled as a legend, it's I don't really take that to heart. It's just something that people think of you, and for me, I just do my what God has given me, blessed me with the talent, and that's what I've been doing. So the only legend in my life is my God.
You came back from France. You went to Montpellier, then Agen. Is that right?
Yeah, Agen.
Yeah. So when you came back over to the UK, you went to play for Hartpury.
Yeah.
Okay. So how was that experience playing in the Championship again?
It's nothing new for me. Because I started with that. Started off my rugby in professional rugby with Port and B in the Championship League, and it's something that I always dream of finishing off my rugby career, to go back and play where I started, and it was really good for me. Something to give back to the to that league, and especially helping younger players in Hartpury to push on and go on from Championship League to bigger clubs and to bigger dreams that they have.
Talking about bigger dreams, so you left Hartpury last year. Last season was your last season, and I was going to say you're now at Newport. Salah. I would say you're now playing there, but obviously we're not playing at the moment. So, but how did that come about? How did that kind of go from playing in the Championship to playing?
It came about when I was gonna just finish off with anything to do with rugby. I was just settling back at home, trying to start out things for me and for my family, especially as they say, trying to get to that the life after rugby. So I was trying to suss out things, work, and what I can do, and it just came about that they offered me with the coach and player. But we sat down I sat down with the coaches and the chairman, and the first thing I said, I think playing is will be minimized for me, but coaching, I will maximize my potential in coaching as I'm pursuing my my level 3 in coaching as well. So that's how it came about, and now we push forward with that.
I was going to say, is that your, you just said it now, but is that your next progression into coaching?
Yes, that's something I've been looking into. I want to push forward with my coaching career.
Talking about coaching, then let's just swap now to your international career. You've made 3 World Cups.
Yeah.
3 World Cups. Is that right?
Yes, 3.
Yeah. What was your highlight in that time?
My highlight was been given the armband to lead the team. Not only the team, but to lead a sport that is that everyone in Fiji loves, and it carries a massive load on me as on the leadership side of things, and that's something I've been dreaming of and praying for when I started playing for Fiji to lead the nation in.
If you could do something differently as the captain of Fiji, or what would you have done?
I think I've done the best I can. Qualified the team into 2 World Cups, but I only captained it to 2015. I can't think of anything that I can change or redo.
The pace, the power, everyone knows that. But in 2015, there was a change, and that came from the scrum. Do you think that was a turning point for the way the world looked at Fiji rugby and the way they looked at the Type 5 really of the Fiji side?
Just before the tournament started, as the team came together, that's what I sat together with the senior players, and that's what we came up with. We wanted to change how the world see our food pack. For the past few years, they've been seeing it as that's a weak link to the Flying Fijians. That's what they can attack and beat us in, because surely our backline they are superstars, and it's really hard for them to try and counter them there. And that's what we came together with the senior team, and that's what we decided, and that's what we were going to change. And when it came through in 2015, we didn't really bother about the result. We were so happy that we managed to change how teams look at us, and how they study us, and how they rank us. And to make those changes, it was really it was top of one of the top of the list for us, and we were really happy, and we were so proud of ourselves in achieving that.
Which brings us on to Autumn Nations Cup. Now, luckily, I would say. I was going to say, luckily, Fiji are playing Tier 1 nations more often, but
this is actually the first time in international rugby that I've heard a win by default. It normally happens in club level.
I mean, probably the Italians are like, oh yes, we've got 5 points there.
Exactly. Yes. Easy one in the bag.
So before it, I had high hopes for Fiji, and I thought, you know what, Fiji. I was talking to Vita Vabambati, and I kind of agree with him that he would think Fiji would come second behind France. Obviously, that's not going to happen now. Let's just talk about the current squad. Forget about what's happened, Italy and France games. If those games could be played, what could have the hopes been for the nation?
Well, the main hopes for the nation is that those young players coming in, those are the future for Fiji rugby, and I'm gutted that those players didn't get their test match last week, but it was an exciting squad, an exciting lineup that was put up by Vancouver to play France. But the hopes for the nation is it's really bright right now with those young players coming in.
Is there one particular player you would kind of point out, other than the obvious candidates, one particular young player you would actually pick on who would kind of lead us to the 2023 World Cup in France?
The young player that I would pick up in the forwards, I would say will be Kichone Kamikamiva. because he can play throughout that back row position. And yeah, he will be a future for Fiji. So as John Dyer. So as John Dyer.
If at some point, if this tournament happens again, is it good for Fiji to be able to play Tier 1 nations more?
Oh yes, that's what we've been fighting for the last few years, because the more time we play against Tier 1 nations, the more time we get to come over and experience the lifestyle and the environment that they're in. I think that's the motivation point for us as a Flying Pigeons, for the Flying Pigeons to lift up their standard of how they train, how they go about their things in camp.
Do you think this will be a fixture in the calendar which is good for the game, or do you think it will continue, or do you think do you think it's good for the game?
I think it's good for the game right now, because in order to grow the game, in order to develop these Type 2 nations, we need this kind of games. We really need this kind of games to develop these young players and to get to a stage which is competitive, and that's what we've been fighting for the last few years. And now to see that happening, it's something that yes, we are so happy, and we would love to see it continue.
Do you think there's room for Fiji Rugby to develop to develop the national side, or do you think there are always going to be those issues with money going missing and so on?
It's a very sensitive topic to talk about, because it's something that has been there for a long time, I would say. And I know it doesn't only happen to these small Pacific countries. It happens to these big countries as well. But we are the ones that has been highlighted because of the players that we come up with and how good they are. And yes, Danny Leo has been doing a good job. He's been doing a great job exposing all these weaknesses. And the only question there is, in order to expose a problem, we need a solution to it. So whatever things that Danny Leo is doing, I just hope that there's a solution to all those things that has been exposed. Because if there is no solution, then there's no point on exposing all this stuff, because it's gonna go on.
There's a lot of reports at the moment about the Fijian Drua going into Super Rugby in 2022. There's a two-part question. Do you think this will actually happen? And do you think that they will be able to compete in Super Rugby?
I think it will happen. The Drua has proven themselves in this competition in Australia. They can compete. Yes, I would say they can compete, because I do believe in the management team that they have. I think Sherubakula has proven himself a couple of times that he's a good coach with the level of coaching that he's on at the moment, and with his coaching staff and his management team, I do believe that they can compete in the Super Rugby.
There's a lot of young players there, and some of them actually gone on to play for Fiji. Frank Lamagna is one of them. But talking about young players, do you have any advice you would give to a young player?
Oh, my only advice to these young players that they're dreaming of putting on the jersey or looking overseas to ply their trade and hopefully play for the countries that they're playing their trade in. My only advice is to put God first. Put God first in everything they do. Work hard, and be disciplined in whatever things that you do. And with all those three, I think it will take a player right to the top. As I always say to these young players, for me to label a good rugby player doesn't really it does for me to perform in the field it doesn't balance off if you're not good off the field. So for me, a good rugby player he performs in the field and off the field as well. That is a balanced rugby player.
From a player's point of view, Fiji's eighth man was set up 5 years ago. Thank you for the support you've shown us throughout that time, especially from the beginning. Thank you for that. But what, from a player's point of view, what's your take on Fiji's eighth man?
It's the support, and sometimes it encourages people. I'll take for example, when I was captaining the team, I always get the support from the Fiji eighth man, doing things and trying to promote things, and that's something that that the eighth man has come through with it, and it really helps us a lot.
If there's one thing we could do to support the players more, what would that be?
Sponsorships, just to try and get sponsorships and help the team whenever they come across to Europe or whatever big competition we are in overseas. And that's something that we are so happy as players or sitting on that leadership role. We are always happy and so blessed when we get support from this kind of association. So to get eight men on board, it's been really good for us for the last few years.
Okay, Barbarians. Talking about Barbarians, you played for the Barbarians in 2012. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How was that experience for you as a player?
Oh, it was something. It was a highlight of my rugby career as well. I only hear about the players playing for Barbarians, and to represent them is just totally a new chapter, a new page that I've just flipped over and a box to tick. It's really eye-opening for me, playing along these superstars in the game of in the sport of rugby, and to mingle with them and to get to know them within those 2 or 3 weeks that we've been together was just a highlight.
2023, Fiji will be in the World Cup. What's the betting? It's going to be the group with Australia, Wales, and Uruguay.
I reckon if they got those two in their pool, they'll be in the quarterfinals for sure. For sure.
And the great thing is it's going to be in France, so we're going to be here as well. We can all go and watch anyway as well. So, yeah. Okay, so you're now at Newport Salop. You're beginning the next chapter of your life. Yeah. What is life like at the moment? Now you're not playing professional.
Oh, I've been enjoying it. Not waking up in the morning, get weighing in and doing fitness. And yes, I've been enjoying it. More time with my family. Get my hands on to my kids going to school, and to do that, it's something I've been missing for the last few years because I've been tied up with all my rugby career. And starting out few things that is available at the moment in regards to work, and to experience those things. I've been enjoying it so far. So I'm just trying to zoom down on the things that I can push forward in the next few years.
Talking about next few years, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Just
head coach somewhere.
Head coach, Fiji Rugby.
They're not even accepting Servakula, so they'll. For me, I don't think so. I'll be. That's what I see myself. And right now, pretty much, I can't predict what the next 5 years or the next year will bring. But I'm just blessed that I'm back in England and to to see my family happy and to see them every day. It's a blessing, and yeah, I'm so happy.
You played in some great Fiji teams, with some great players. You've played for So who for Fiji is the best player you feel you've played with?
Played a lot of. I've played with all. I've played with all the best players. To name one is really hard for me because there's a lot of superstars. Nearly everyone in the team that I've played with are all superstars, and it's hard for me to name one. But just for you today, I will just pick my Tavale Bildambachi.
What made him so good?
Because no one can argue with him with the size he's got. Yeah, he was the one who, when I came into the team, was taking me by his wings and taught me a lot of things in regards to professionalism and stuff. So yeah, when I came into the team, he was still there, and him and Tundobi was the two that was really tapping me on the back and slapping me on the head for not for just taking a wrong step. So yeah, they were like teachers. They were like my school teachers in camp. So, but to look back on that, I'm really happy, and I'm really blessed to cross paths with them during those years.
Okay, so I'll go back to the Autumn Nations Cup. Do you feel that what do you think has happened? Why do you think? What do you think? Do you think Fiji Rugby has handled the whole COVID situation well?
I would just give you an example, David. I would just give you an example. After the game last week, the Argentinian coach Ledesma, he came out on the media and he said that they were quarantined. The whole team had to go through quarantine. And even when the Europe-based players came into camp, they had to go through their quarantine. So they were separated from the team before they started to train together. So they were struggling to train together because of the different timings of quarantine. It's just because of the faith of the whole squad. And with that concludes the matter that just happened. It's always hard. It's always hard. And this is what we've been saying for the last few years. It's always hard for the Pacific Island teams to come and play in these November tours with a short period of time. Even with this Regiment 9 camp, it only takes one week. And to compare that with England rugby team and all these big teams that are in this autumn series, they've been camping. They've been in camp for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So they've done their quarantine together as a team for 2 weeks. So everyone is cleared to play, and that's why they're just flying here to Scotland, play here to Wales and play, here to France and play, because everyone is cleared off. But for the Fiji team, they've just flew into the local boys flew in for the Barbarians game, and it didn't happen. So there was no quarantine at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they flew into France for that 1 week. They joined up with the players in France with no quarantine at all. And the English players had to fly in and join the team with no quarantine at all because the time was limited for them. And that's what the organizers should look into for the next. If this COVID goes on for a long time, that's something that they really need to get a look into deeply, because it's really hard for us to try and form a team within a week. And for this quarantine for 2 weeks, there's no time. Surely they will miss the first game.
I would say benefit of hindsight, but I think they need to employ you and me just to sort them out.
Yeah. Well, because they think that the Fiji team are already together from Fiji, and then they just come in, quarantine for 2 weeks, and then boom, they straight away. But they come from different clubs.
I want to thank you for the support you've given us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure for me to be part of this live Zoom and part of this interview. And I just wish the Flying Fijians the very best with those 29 players they've been tested. I can only just say that for them to be strong and get up and fight for another day, because this COVID will go on for, I don't know, God knows, but they've got only 1 week against Scotland and they go back to their different families. So they just need to look deep into to what their priorities, and I just hope for the best for the whole team and for the management team. Naka.
Space and time, and the try.